Good day, everyone. This is Finally Feels, and welcome to DDO Players News. We today take a look at the latest news in DDO and on the tabletop. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Draculata.
Hey now, everybody. How's it going?
Everything is going fine over here. How are things over in Barovia?
Okay, other than the Barovian plague apparently has decided to come back yet again, or hasn't left, or something. I don't know. It's getting
Uh,
annoying at this point.
the plague is getting annoying. You know, it might be all those rats that you keep in your castle.
Well, it could be. I never thought about that.
I never thought about that.
Might have to get an exterminator in here.
Ooh. Let's head into game news then, and we'll begin with a little note that this week, Thursday and Friday, are the U.S. Thanksgiving holiday. Thursday is Thanksgiving, but I believe it is a tradition of Standing Stone Games that they also take Friday off because they like their Black Friday sales like many other Americans.
Yeah, everybody likes the Black Friday sales. Come
Yeah, I heard that in some parts of the world, they might never have heard of Thanksgiving, but they've heard of Black Friday.
on. Of course they have.
Of course they have. So yes, SSG will be closed on those days, which means that you might not get the fastest service on certain things. I don't know. They announce a reduced phone schedule or something like that
Yeah, they haven't
for
done that
things
yet.
like that.
I'm assuming they might do that tomorrow or Wednesday because it's usually like a couple days before. But I would assume there's going to be some small support staff and our hours. But stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned for that, and if you have anything you wish to contact him about, I suggest you do it before, you know, on Tuesday or Wednesday of this week rather than putting it off until Thursday or Friday. Let's then look at update 41, which is going to be introducing some new spells and tweaking some existing spells. And it looks
Yes, it will. Looks like Steel Star posted over on the forums about this. He said, "Hello, we're here today to talk about some new spells and changes to spells that will be forthcoming in Update 41. This will add 7 new wizard and sorcerer spells, and it's going to upgrade the damage on quite a few of the other damage spells. This is meant to boost wizard and sorcerers' overall DPS and fill some gaps in their casting rotation. So, what we have: Level 1 Wizard Sorc spells. You will get Firebolt, Freezing Bolt, Acid Bolt, and Electric Bolt. Lots of bolts going on.
Yeah. Now, they did make a note that the Firebolt is a real D&D spell and that they named the other ones, but I think that there used to be a feat that would allow you to change the energy type of something so that you could effectively do in 3.5 a freezing bolt or acid bolt by taking
Ooh,
that feat.
you know what? I think you're right. I seem to remember one of my friends doing that a lot. Because
Yeah.
depending on what we would fight or whatever, yeah, they could change that. So I think you're right on that. I'd have to dig out my 3.5 book. It's like right over there. I'm looking at it. But that would require me to get up and walk across the room, so it can just
Ah,
sit over there on the shelf for now. But yeah, I'll have to look that up. But I'm pretty sure you're right.
of course, it might be in some Unearthed Arcanum book or something
That's
like
true
that.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Seal Star does say each of these fires a single target bolt that does 1d6 plus 2 damage of the appropriate element per caster level to a max caster level of 10. They will cost 2 spell points each at their base and have a 4.5-second cooldown, 3.5 on Sorks. And this is going to be shared among all 4 spells. So realistically, you can only use 1 right now. These exist in the Wizards and Sorcerer spellbooks and can be taken at any level. Scrolls of these will be available at the scroll shops.
Now, I should note that even though they say that you can only really use one of them, if you want to specialize in these things, you might take more than one, just in case there's some monsters where one would be better, and another monster where the other one would be better.
Very, very true. Steel Star says there are a few goals with these spells: to provide a spammable, low-level nuking spell for several arcane builds at a low SP cost to help low-level elemental nuker casters have a little more options, and to help fill out long-range casting rotations. Most of the low-level damage spells are touch range, and some characters aren't built to handle that without dying.
What? Hey, hold on. A squishy wizard or sorcerer?
Who would have thought, all right? There's going to be some new level 9 Wiz and Sorc spells as well.
I guess if I ever see one of those things.
Exactly. You're going to get Iceberg in the 3.5 book. This is called Frostburn. You're going to drop a big ol' ice ball on your target. Single target spell, 1d6 plus 27 per caster level. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Reflex save for half damage, max caster level of 20. And that is going to cost 40 spell points. So that sounds pretty cool, dropping a big ol' ice ball.
Yeah, ouch.
You get to have Acid Wall. This doesn't exist in a P&P source. It came directly from Players Council feedback. Acid bursts forth from the ground in an area the size of a snowball swarm. Its area of effect spell, of course, 1d6 plus 18 per caster level, fortitude save for half damage, max caster level 20, and that 40 spell point cost as well. Thunderstroke, this is from the edition that should not be named, Arcane Power on page 37. A big old lightning strike to a single target. Single target spell, 1d6 plus 27 per caster level, reflex save for half damage, max caster level 20, 40 spell points. That sounds pretty sweet too. But yeah, what's weird, I'm not sure why they call that one Thunderstroke when you're casting a lightning strike. Should it be like lightning stroke or something? But I guess Thunderstroke sounds cooler, I guess.
Well, whenever you cast the spell, see, half the damage is actually coming from the lightning. The other half is from the concussion from the thunder.
Okay. There you go. Okay.
That results from it.
See,
Let's throw some Chinese logic there.
Now it all makes sense. That's right. Now it all makes sense.
See, that's why it does half damage if you make your save, because you get away from the lightning. It's just that thunder is, there's no escaping that.
Exactly. And then they're, of course, upgrading some spells as well. At level 1, Acid Spray is now going to do 1d6 plus 1 caster level. Burning Hands, 1d6 plus 1. Shocking Grasp, 1d6 plus 2. Level 2, Scorch is now 1d6 plus 2. Snowball Swarm, 1d6 plus 2. Acid Blast at level 3, 1d6 plus 3. Fireball, 1d6 plus 3. And Lightning Bolt, 1d6 plus 3. And so on and so forth. Go ahead and check the link out in the show notes. I'm not going to read all these because there's a ton of them. But that is what's coming. And then Steel Star did provide a little fact as well. Why weren't Lesser Death Aura, and most other negative spells included? He answers, we're going to get around to a Pale Master revision eventually, and we'd like to adjust those spells with that pass. So Pale Masters, you're going to have to wait. Why weren't other spells included here? Probably because they didn't meet the guidelines above, or because changing it to these standards would have been a net reduction in damage. Looking at you, Nika's Cold Ray. We're not setting out to up-push all damaging spells game-wide. We're looking to upgrade Wizard and Sorcerer Nuker spells specifically. So if other classes have access to these spells, will they get updated as well? Yes. Everywhere these spells exist, they should get the upgrade. For instance, Artificers get Lightning Bolt through the Arcano Technician, and Clerics can get it through the Air Domain. These would both use the upgraded damage numbers for those spells. And finally, where does this put Wizards and Sorcs relative to all other caster nukers? This does move Wizards and Sorcerers standing relative to other arcane nukers, Druid, Arcano Technicians, Clerics, Favorite Soul, etc., etc. We're still gathering data. Lamania is going to help that. But we believe them to be slightly ahead of most other nukers now. They don't have healing outside of PM to fall back on, and a lot of the other resources that other nuking classes get, we're of the mind that should put them a little ahead.
Right.
Some
Yeah, they certainly shouldn't be the weakest nuclear class if they don't have much else to do.
Right, exactly. So you're basically going to be just a big old nuker, and you're going to do a bunch of damage, and then you're going to hope that your cleric will heal you once the mobs start targeting you.
As they're wont to do, yes.
So there's a look at that. And if you want some more information on this, last week on the weekly Wednesday live stream, Steel Star and Cordovan had a chat about these spell changes. So click over and watch that. You can watch it over on Twitch or on DDO's YouTube as well.
With that done, let's head into our weekly chronicle, issue 309, where it looks like a mimic is on the top.
Yep, had to get one last mimic in, as now the mimics are gone bye-bye for a while. Yes, the mimic hunt is over. If you were expecting it to last a little longer, sorry. Wah, wah. Hopefully it'll come back soon. I do love that event a lot. So much fun. So we have Jess from the Truth Seekers Guild over on Arganescent has started a website for DDO fashion.
DDO fashion.
So if you want to get fashionable and look up some cool outfits and find out what they are and how to get them, check out the new blog from Jess.
Now, are there any other DDO cosmetic blogs yet?
There is, I think, maybe one, but I don't think it's been updated for a while.
Ah.
Off the top of my head, I can only think of like one other person. And then there is like a thread on the forums where a couple of people put some like screenshots and update some stuff. But that's not really a blog per se. That's just on the forums. But so it'll be interesting to see how far or how long they update this blog. Because, yeah, DDO is not really, like a cosmetic-centric game. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of cool cosmetics. And a lot of cool armors, and you can mix stuff, especially with the mirror glamoring. So it's kind of cool that we have a fashion blog per se like this. Also, don't forget you can watch the second episode of the bonus D&D night stream. That was the one we talked about last week. That is the second stream in the Waterdeep Dragon Heist module that we're running through. Waterdeep Dwarves plus one drow journey into a seedy neighborhood in search of a friend of Volathamp Gedum. So yes, did we find Volo's friend? You'll have to watch to find out. We do have our fansite news section, of course, as always. DDO Cast had an episode last week about Extra Life in Movember, so click over and check that out. We had the latest blog post from the House of Grouse. Brock and Darbeth are talking holiday crafts? Question mark. I haven't watched that one yet, so I'm going to have to watch that and see what kind of holiday crafts they were up to. We got a shout out for our episode 200. The Damsels of DDO had their episode 100, so congratulations, I should say, to the Damsels for 100 episodes. That is amazing. Cordovan also did a Movember fundraising live stream, so click over and check that out if you missed it. Doug Glendower also did a Movember DDO stream. Don't forget the newest show on DDO stream is DDO Sunday with Alex and Lynn, and Streaming with Even, always streaming on Sundays, so check her out. And the Kobold Remembers the Waterworks with DDO PL, folks. And if I knew how to say that in Polish, I would, but alas, I don't know how to speak Polish, so use your imagination. And then we have our Chronicle Comment of the Week, as always. If you were a mimic, what dungeon would you inhabit?
What dungeon would I inhabit?
It's a hard question, because there's a lot of dungeons.
Yeah, there are a lot of dungeons in there. And how about being in the temple right next to one of those Will Wheaton orbs?
Okay. I gotta say, I would go in Death House.
Ooh.
Because I love that dungeon. It's creepy, it's amazing, it's awesome, and it's in Ravenloft.
Yeah, I was thinking that you're going to say the castle, but
See, I
I guess.
almost went with an invitation to dinner. Almost
Aha.
did, just because then I could like hang out by Strahd somewhere. But I think maybe Death House.
All right, Death House sounds like a good choice.
And then, of course, we have our screenshot of the week, and that is Maurice, the mundane mini mimic. Say that a couple times fast. Makes merry when meeting motionless mimics in the 391st DDO screenshot of the week. And that's thanks to Yavul for sending in that screenshot. That's a pretty cool screenshot, actually. I do like that.
Dancing mimic.
A dancing mini mimic waiting for his other mimic buddies to unmimic themselves, I guess. Or uncloak themselves. I'm not sure how you would say that, but cool screenshot nonetheless.
Then let's see what kind of treasure is dropped by the mimics in looking at the store sales.
Well, we have our Bigger is Better sale this week. 25% off now through November the 22nd. Colossal ingredients bags. Colossal augment bags. Sovereign Guild-renowned elixirs, 25 of those. Superior spell point potions, 100 of those. And the Gold Seal Elixir of Sovereign Healing. That is a mouthful. You also get 100 of those as well. And that is 25% off. In our DDO store, weekly coupon will get you a free long-lasting Eagle's Majesty potion times 5 when you use the coupon code MAJESTY, MAGESTY, and that is now through November the 22nd. And as we alluded to earlier in the show, this is Black Friday week. On Friday is Black Friday. Here in the United States, there is always crazy deals to be had in stores because apparently that's what you do. You eat too much on Thursday and then you shop too much on Black Friday. I don't know how it started. It just did. There should be some Black Friday sales coming up because there's always good Black Friday sales coming up. They're usually in the marketplace, not the DDO store, but in the actual real world cash shop. We'll call it the DDO marketplace. So stay tuned to DDO Players. I'll be sure to post them on the site once those are announced. Those are announced Wednesday afternoon.
Right, because no one wants to be around doing it on Thursday.
Right, exactly. So we'll see what Black Friday deals await us coming Wednesday. So it'll probably be, podcast comes out at 10 a.m., sometimes during the day we'll get those posts and I'll try to get it up probably not until I get home, so it might be late before it comes up, but we'll see.
Yes. Cordovan did say that he has already had a look at the Black Friday sales for this year, and he's of the opinion that they're very nice ones. We will, of course, see if we agree with him when we actually see them.
Right, exactly. Maybe he's just teasing us.
Well, of course, he's teasing us.
Oh, yeah.
Let's then head into our week in gaming. And Drac, what were you up to?
Next.
You can at least talk about what we did together then.
Well, yeah, I could do that. Yeah, I didn't do anything game-wise this week, like nothing. To be totally honest, I'm trying to think. I don't even think I turned my gaming PC on this week at all.
Ouch.
I'm just trying to think. Did I? No, I don't even think I turned it. I think tonight is the first time that I turned it on, and that was just to like update it because I know when Windows 10 had an update, so I thought, well, I'm going to do that. So yeah, so there you go. So yeah, with us, and this was streamed all over on my Twitch channel. You can go to my YouTube to see the video. We did Waterworks. Did Kobold still remember? That is the question. So we ran Kobold's Den, Nasttooth, Rescuing Arlos, Clan Tunnelworm, and Ven's Fate. And then also we had a little bit of time after we got done with the Waterworks, so we did Dirk's Got a Secret. That crazy, crazy Dirk and his secret.
Crazy, crazy. You know, I think his real secret is the location of that second troglodyte.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because yeah, I couldn't remember where it was. Yeah, that was one optional that we couldn't get because yeah, I can't remember where that guy's at. I know
Yeah,
it.
so that's what we last
Yeah,
looked.
I know he's there somewhere because I've done him before.
I'm pretty sure I've done it before also.
Yeah, it's kind of one I might have just stumbled onto by accident, probably. So yeah. So yeah, that was pretty much it. Like I said, other than that, I did nothing in gaming. I had another week that I have some time, so hopefully this weekend I can get some gaming in. I did do some stuff related to the podcast and or the website. I don't know if that counts for weekend gaming or not, but
Oh, well, it was
maybe.
semi.
Yeah, it was game related. Yeah, I made 5 unboxing videos that will soon be over on the site, so look for those coming soon.
Ooh, that means we'll have something to discuss next week.
Yes, hopefully. Yeah, we'll actually have some like game news and stuff. Well, at least that, because most everybody is going to be shut down for a couple days. So yeah, so not a lot of game news, not a lot of news in general, but yeah, so you have 5 unboxing videos to look forward to if you're into that kind of thing. I mean, people watch them, so I guess some people are into that kind of thing. So that was pretty much my week in a nutshell. How about you, finally?
I managed, of course, to spend a lot of my time playing Lotro because
Shocked, shocked, I
I'm still
say.
doing that. I did finally finish the new content in there, which means that I'll have more time for doing other stuff now. I did get all ready to do a run of DDO last night. I said, okay, let's bring up DDO, let's start the dungeon, get into the dungeon, and that's when my internet went down.
Oh no, don't.
So that the internet was down for the next third half hour or hour or something like that, which meant that there goes the time slot for DDO. Oops,
It's usually at the most inopportune times that the internet decides to die.
decides to die. So that was that, which meant that no D. But I did have some other gaming this week. First off, in Minecraft, in my multiplayer world, I built a warehouse. Essentially, it's a big storage shed keep keep my stuff because when you play Minecraft, you accumulate lots and lots of stuff, and you need to figure out where do I put this. So I built a big warehouse in which to put all that stuff in. Then in my railroad challenge, I had decided to upgrade. Oh, why did I? Oh, that's right, because I've been playing in snapshots. I was originally playing in the first snapshot. Things were going fairly well in it, but apparently there was a bug in that snapshot where mm, where spawners weren't working properly. No matter what I could do, none of the zombies in my would be spawning in my zombie farm. I was like, well, that's pretty pathetic to have a zombie farm and no zombies spawning in it. I just thought, okay, maybe it's a bug with the version of Minecraft I was running, so I upgraded to the latest snapshot. All right, I did that, and the zombie spawner is now working perfectly. I'm all nice and beautiful there. But that meant that I now have the updates where they added the illager patrols. And I was a little bit afraid of these, especially hearing last week how they were being spawned more often than they should have. But since one of the patch notes for last week's update was that they reduced the rate of the illager spawns, that means, okay, everything is going to be nice and beautiful now. Everything's all nice and normal. Well, perhaps they reduced the spawn rate of those things, but they are still way, way, way too high. And I can only hope that it's going to be reduced before they get around to the official release of this because it's really bad to have a mob that I'm up for the daytime, I look outside, and I could see about 3 or 4 of these patrols in the area. This is supposed to be a rare event, not something where in half an hour you're going to have 4 different patrols all over the place.
That's not very rare indeed.
Right. I had a thing where the next episode that I'll be posting, I was recording this and I said, all right, let's shoot some of these illagers here. Then I went outside, pick up the banner, and then come back into the building. Well, as I was, this is about maybe 30 blocks from the door. I go there, I pick up the banner that dropped and the other stuff. I come back to my door, and right in front of my door, another patrol had spawned in that short time I was away.
Oh, good grief.
And they all come up out there, and one of them pulls out an axe and goes whack, 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 and I'm dead.
Well, how rude.
That is rude. And as a result of that, I lost quite a bit of stuff from there. I think my best pickaxe and stuff like that are now gone forever as a result of that little interaction. I am tired of those illager patrols, and the only thing I can think of right now to handle them is that if they don't drastically reduce that rate before in the next snapshot, I'm going to have to switch over to peaceful mode. Now, considering that I have a zombie farm that requires me not to be in peaceful in order for it to operate, it's a rather desperate move in order to do that. That means because I'll be shutting down my zombie farm as a result of it. But this particular challenge was not supposed to be invaded by many, many mobs. It was a building challenge, not a survival challenge or anything like that. So if I'm desperate enough, I may just decide to knock that down to peaceful until they get those spawns down to a reasonable level. We'll have to see on that. But that really, really makes the next update feature. When they added those flying beasts, those phantoms to the game for 1.13, I thought that they were going to be a terrible menace. I didn't. Of course, we figured out how to get through there, but I did not realize that next is we were going to have illager patrols, and yeah, they make the phantoms look like easy stuff to deal with. I don't like those illagers, as you could tell based on what I've been saying.
I noticed. I'm going to say, tell me how you really feel about them.
Yeah, tell you how I really feel. All right, so most likely my railroad challenge is going to turn into peaceful mode, at least until we get things reasonable there. And if I want XP, I'm going to have to do fishing and things like that, because I'm not going to be able to get from killing mobs. In tabletop gaming, I managed to acquire the latest edition of Arkham Horror 3rd edition, and I had my first playthrough of this new edition. Now, I'm not completely sure I ever got through a complete game of 2nd edition. Are you familiar with Arkham Horror?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I played it a couple times.
Yeah, so you're familiar with the 2nd edition, this big, massive board that they have?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Right, so you had this big, massive board, about 70,000 decks of cards and stuff like that. But I was playing this one, and they managed to get things quite a bit more streamlined, I think, than in the previous edition. The map is a lot smaller. There are many fewer decks. It's not as focused on finding gates all over the city and shutting them down. That's no longer the focus of the game. And I think the game feels a lot better to it. I did my first playthrough of it. I decided to try it with Agnes Baker. I was doing pretty well. Everything's going all nice. Very good character to use for it. Of course, then this monster came down and sliced her into ribbons.
That's what happens in Arkham Horror.
That's what happens in Arkham Horror. Now, fortunately, if your investigator dies, you plop down a Doom token on your counter on there, as if you didn't have enough trouble keeping control of the Doom, and you replace the character. So I brought out Michael McGlynn to get revenge, and one of his items that he comes with is known as the Chicago typewriter, also called a Tommy gun.
Oh, no. I was about to say, now, how is a typewriter going to help you against Cthulhu? But okay. Understandable.
Understandable, yes. And in combat, he might be the best combat character you got out there, because when he has that Tommy gun out, he just wipes away monsters like crazy. So first thing he did, of course, was to avenge the death of Agnes Baker,
Well, of course.
and, and anything that had to do with monsters, he was able to rip through them. And it's nice because he has an ability that if he's got a clue, he can research the clue after killing a monster. So it's really nice, some really nice abilities that he has, all nice and geared for combat. Of course, when you reach the part of the game where combat is less useful, he became a less of a wonderful investigator to have around. And so we were coming to the end game, and what I really need was someone with great lore, such as Agnes Breaker. And as a result, he wasn't getting the roles he needed in order to finish the game. And of course, the world got blown up and all that fun stuff. You know, the type of stuff that happens in the world of Cthulhu.
Sounds reasonable.
Therefore, I want to be trying another scenario this week. Unlike having things focused on the great one, it's now focused on a scenario, and the great one, of course, is tied in with the scenario. So, sort of the style of thing that you have in Mansions of Madness, for example, or
Okay.
Arkham Horror, the card game, where the scenario is the main thing, and and that the great one, you know, it could either be the great one, or it could be that we will have some scenarios that aren't going to be. A scenario doesn't necessarily have to be tied in with one of the great runs. It could, because all sorts of nasty things happen in there that the great ones might be indirectly controlling. So you never runs that run into that type of stuff. We'll have to see on that matter. But I'm gonna go through there are 4 scenarios in the original game, and I suspect that there will be many, many expansions of this in the future. We shall see. And one of the nice things I think with this edition is with the way they have devised how the maps operate, it's possible that they might be able to add new locations, map stuff like without adding sideboards that make the game even bigger.
Oh, jeez.
Because they have modules for the maps now, and with these modules, you could keep it down to 5 modules and scenarios down to a reasonable pace if they do it right. We'll have to find out when the first expansion comes out. But that's Arkham Horror, the third edition. We currently have 21 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to help support DDO Players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on a podcast of your choice, or even be guest with us for an episode at DDO Players News. And someday, the Barovian Plague will leave Draculetta. You'll have lots of energy and be able to come up with the new reward system.
Mm-hmm. Someday.
Someday.
It'll be a glorious day, that's someday.
Yes. And I heard that Lessa had a couple of comments on the previous episode.
She did. She says, "Congratulations on 200. I was smiling ear to ear during the extras." And I'm sure you were, because she was featured in a lot of them. In case you somehow missed it, we kind of teased it last week. We didn't tell you what it was. There was a YouTube version that was separate, but on the audio version of the podcast, what we did for the extras at the end of the podcast is Bonnie Bew once again took episode 100 to 199, and she took little bits out of each episode and put them all together. So you get about a 25-minute glimpse of what the show is like from each episode. It's pretty amazing what she does. How she finds the time to do this, I have no idea. She really has to sit and listen to each episode and grab little bits out of it. So it's crazy what she does. But we want to thank Bonnie for doing that. That video is up on YouTube if you just want to watch that and not have to sit through the whole podcast and listen to it, because it was released as some extras. And then Lessa also says, "I am ashamed of you, Drac. That coffee was too hot." And then she puts a YouTube link.
a YouTube link showing
This,
how hot the coffee was.
this is going to go into the show notes because this video was actually very, very interesting, and I learned a bunch of stuff about the McDonald's coffee lawsuit. It was an actual legitimate lawsuit that should have been filed. It's nothing what I thought it was about. So I was totally wrong. That was a legitimate lawsuit. In case people are going, what the heck are you talking about? You'd have to listen to last week's show. And hopefully I can redeem myself in Lessa's eyes now. Lessa was ashamed of me. I hang my head in shame.
And for emails, Stinger sent in his favorite Cthulhu tactic. Surely, run away!
Exactly. Cthulhu tactics. Run away. Run far away if you can get away.
Well, the trouble is, after that scenario that I played of Arkham Horror, I'm not too sure running away would have been a very effective tactic.
Exactly.
Because, well, I know that was Azeroth instead of Cthulhu, but either way.
Still, same difference.
Yeah. But if you'd like to send us an email, such as with your favorite tactic against Cthulhu, you can send it to podcast@ddoplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at the Players Alliance at Players Ally, DDO Players at DDO Players, Draculetta at Dracula_72, and Piney at Piney News. You can also follow Drac on Twitch at Draculetta_72. The Players Alliance has 2 live shows every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News, and every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Electro Players News. You can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight. And this is Piney News reminding you to quest responsibly.